Today we're doing something a little special. We're reviewing not one, not two, but 3 different expansion packs for Terraforming Mars. I'm Mark Maya. Welcome to Board Game Coffee. Alright, now before we commence with the review, I'd like to remind you all about subscribing to our channel. It's the best way to keep up to date with everything we do here at Board Game Coffee. If you're already a subscriber, welcome back. Now, since this is a special review and we're reviewing 3 games in one video, I need a little help.
Hi everyone, I'm Brittany.
Brittany's back. Now, the reason I asked Brittany here to join us on this review of the Terraforming Mars expansions is because Brittany has a special connection to Terraforming Mars.
I love and hate Terraforming Mars. I love it because I'm addicted to it. It's such an amazing game. It's strategic. We play for hours and I lose time. And I hate it because I always lose.
More specifically, she always loses to me. Now, in this video, we won't be covering the base game of Terraforming Mars, but if you do want to know what we thought of Terraforming Mars, check out our review video.
We'll put the link in the description below.
Now, the first expansion to Terraforming Mars that we're going to cover here on this very special review is Hellas and Elysium.
Exploring the other side of Mars.
Now, Hellas and Elysium is an interesting expansion because it's just a board. And this, the wrapping, is the rules, actually. Let's crack this open. So, if you've played the original Terraforming Mars, which Brittany has the board here, you'll notice that at first glance, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot different. Now, the biggest difference about this, other than the milestones and awards at the bottom, is that this board is double-sided. And this is the other side of Mars, as you can tell because the giant thermometer that circles Mars is on the right side versus the left side. Hold on. Your right side, your left side. This is my right side right now. See? Anyways, other than that, the rules of the game don't change. There's just different ways to get points with the milestones and awards. And as you notice, the tiles here, where you get to, I guess the board where you place the tiles, earn you different awards in different spots. But not a huge change. So Hellas and Elysium doesn't offer a whole lot different, but again, it didn't cost that much. It was about like $15 for a new board.
I liked it. I mean, it added a little bit of spice to our game. It just changed things up, but it wasn't that different. The only thing that I struggled with was not understanding what the awards were, so I forgot about them during the game, and then you again stole all the awards and won the game.
That's the biggest thing about that game that you have to remember is if you know the rules, you can just toss that board on, you'll be fine. But you might end up referencing this wrapper to see what the awards and the milestones are.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's
But I like the fact that it switched everything up a little bit.
Yeah. Now, for this expansion in particular, if you're picking up Terraforming Mars, I wouldn't rush out and pick up Hellas and Elysium along with it, unless you're planning to play a whole lot of Terraforming Mars like we do.
Yeah.
So we played a lot of Terraforming Mars, and we thought, hey, let's get the expansions and mix it up. And it's fun to mix it up every once in a while. It changes it up a little, but not a whole lot.
No, yeah.
But for the cost, not bad.
Yeah, if you want more and just to change things up a little bit, then I would absolutely recommend it.
And if you are a Terraforming Mars player, yeah, sure, pick it up. There's no harm. I don't hate it. I don't absolutely love it. I don't think it's a must-have.
It's just.
But I have absolutely no complaints about it. It adds a little variety. So for $15, sure, why not? Mm-hmm. All right, now let's move on to our second Terraforming Mars expansion, which is
Venus Next.
Now, Venus Next is what you'd expect a normal expansion pack to be, or your typical expansion pack. It's got more of everything. Well, not everything. It doesn't come with a new board. It's just got more cards. It's got more project cards, a fair amount of them. I'd say about that many of them. And it introduces some new corporations. Oh, and I lied. It does come with a board. So, well, this little tiny board. Now, this doesn't replace the original. This board actually sits beside the original. And what what Venus Next introduces that's new to Terraforming Mars is introduces this fourth track. Now, if you're a Terraforming Mars player, you'll know that to complete a game of Terraforming Mars, you have to raise the oxygen levels, you have to raise the heat of Mars, and you have to place 9 ocean tiles on the surface of Mars. Once all those 3 requirements are met, the game is over. Now, this Venus track is another correction. I was about to say it's another requirement, but it's not. No. It's not required, but it works like those requirements. As you go up the track, you'll get points. You'll move up your terraforming rating track, which is your points. So that works the same. But this is not required. So you still need to finish the other 3 that I mentioned, ocean, oxygen, heat, but you don't actually have to touch this. If you do finish this, you just finished it. It's just an extra thing you can do, you don't have to do.
So for me, there's a little bit of a disconnect for Venus Next. And I love Terraforming Mars, but I really had a hard time getting into this expansion.
Because she lost.
I did. Really bad. Like, this was probably my worst game yet.
My best game yet.
I also didn't like the fact that the card stock isn't the same as the card stock in the Terraforming Mars, like the original one. So every time we picked it up, I knew already before picking up my 4 cards at the beginning of a generation that I already had a Venus card in my hand.
I agree with Brittany. There's when we first played, there seemed to be a disconnect. My first experience with this game was this. I don't need to pay attention to this board that's off to the side. Mm-hmm. There's no incentive for me, at least that's how I felt at the beginning, there's no incentive for me to finish that Venus track. Because it was like, well, sure, it gets me 1 point, but I can get points elsewhere. Like, I usually do fine getting points playing with the regular cards, and there's tons of regular cards. I never got enough Venus cards, at least in my first playthrough, that I wanted even to get involved with that track. And the fact that Brittany's corporation was, I can't remember what it was, but it benefited somehow from you advancing the track. So that was an incentive for nobody else to play it. Because I was like, well, if we advance that, she benefits. So we're just going to stay over here with the regular game. Mm-hmm. And I know one thing that Brittany mentioned that she wasn't a huge fan of was that it sped up the game. Because there's one rule in Venus Next where at the end of the production phase, one player takes on the role of the World Council, the World Government, something like that. And they raise one of the tracks. So they either raise the heat track, the oxygen track, place an ocean tile, or raise the Venus track. Mm-hmm. Now, doing any of the other 3, the oxygen, heat, and water, that brings the game closer to an end, and that's what speeds up the game, and that's the part Brittany doesn't like.
Yeah, it was a challenge for me because if you've played Terraforming Mars, then you know that it takes a long time to build your resource engine. And once you start building it, you start to feel like you're really getting into the game. And I feel like it takes away about 3 to 5 generations where I really could have got my resources going, and I couldn't get into this one.
So what we end up usually doing is the person on the World Council will just move something on the Venus track because it doesn't matter. So I didn't like Venus Next the first time I played it.
I think it worked for you the second time.
It did work for me.
And I appreciated your strategy around it. I mean, I hated the fact that he had a strategy around it and he ended up winning because of it. So to me, I still don't like it, but maybe I'm bitter.
So you wouldn't recommend Venus Next?
No, I wouldn't. I think I'd play it if it's there, but I would never miss it.
Well, now that we have Venus Next, I think I'll just incorporate it into all our games anyways, just to have it there. Do I recommend Venus Next? And I can't say I recommend it. I like it better now than I did, but I don't...
It's just there.
I don't recommend it. It does add more, but it seems to add like an optional more. At least the board, it's there in your face. You have to deal with it. Venus Next is over here. Mm-hmm. It's optional. You could win the game completely by ignoring that. So I think for that, I wouldn't recommend it, but once you get used to it, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not crazy about Venus Next, but I don't hate it. All right, so let's move on to our final Terraforming Mars expansion, which is Prelude.
Your first steps in becoming a great corporation.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if that's the actual title or just the tagline, but it's there, so Prelude is acceptable. Now, what Prelude does is, it's an interesting expansion as well, because unlike the other 2 expansions, the effects of Prelude really just take place in the beginning.
Yeah.
Each player will get 4 Prelude cards, and they get to select 2 of those to keep and then 2 to toss away. Now, the 2 they keep, unlike their other cards, they don't pay for them. Everybody just gets to keep those 2 cards. And those 2 Prelude cards will give you a boost. What Prelude does to me is, like, when you get those Prelude cards, and if you get a good combo of your corporation and 2 Prelude cards, as Brittany did yesterday's game, she had a great beginning.
I should have owned that game.
Such a strong start.
Such a bad end.
Such a horrible fail. Anyways, so it's almost like you're skipping the first, like, 1, 2, or 3 generations, and you're skipping ahead right away, so you're into the game quicker.
So for me, if you're used to playing Terraforming Mars, it's the feeling that you get when you're just about to end the game, where you have your engine kind of flowing, but you get to start with it. I absolutely loved playing with the Prelude expansion because it gave me that feeling early on in the game, and I felt like I could just do a lot more things that I can't usually do until the end of the game, but I can do at the beginning of the game, which means to me that feeling just lasted a lot longer.
So this is the expansion. If you're picking up Terraforming Mars,
this one.
Just grab Prelude along with it. Because
it just makes it so much better.
I don't think I'll ever play another game of Terraforming Mars without Prelude.
No.
Learning how to add it to your game is like nothing. It's like 2 lines of rules. And it fits nicely into your box. I have nothing bad to say about Prelude. Actually, I do have one bad thing to say about Prelude, is that I want more.
I want more.
I want more of it. Because that boost of power you get in the beginning, you're like, ooh, look what I did. What I like about all these expansions, though, even though we don't necessarily recommend Venus Next, is that they are now part of the core box. So when we bring out Terraforming Mars, we just throw them out all on the table.
Yeah.
Like, we just play with all of them at once. So yeah, if you have Terraforming Mars, you like it, pick up Prelude. The expansions are affordable for Terraforming Mars, and the amount of enjoyment and fun and gameplay you get out of it is so worth it. Hours, yes. Most of our games end at like 3 in the morning.
Yeah,
Well,
give it context. So probably our games usually go about 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, they do. They go a long time. Now, I don't know if that's average. I don't know what the time is on the box. But I blame Brittany. She goes to analysis paralysis. It's her fault. Oh, and before we let you go, I'd like to mention something else. A few little other extras that we like to keep in our Terraforming Mars box. And these are items that we also recommend. And we are not getting sponsored by these items in no way. We bought these things.
We just appreciate them.
So, here they are. Item number 1.
Board Game Geek bowls.
What are they? These are called, like, bowl bits, bit bowls?
Bit bowls. And they just clip together, and they make these perfect you're so much faster than I am. Remember, you did 2 yesterday.
So, let's race. Okay, go. Beat you.
No, he's...
Come on. Let's do it.
Speed up now.
Okay, done. Ta-da.
Okay, we'll just look at yours.
Okay, so yeah, these flat things form these nice little bowls, which is perfect because Terraforming Mars has bits, 3 bits. I think it's perfect.
We always put them in little white bowls, but then I always have to do the dishes. And...
Yeah, we put them in our actual food bowls. But these are a lot better because they lay flat and they sit in your box nicely. Yeah. So when you're traveling with the game, which actually I just did that last week, makes these little bowls. Or whenever you pull it out, you don't go have to hunting bowls. They're already in the box. So we just permanently keep these in the box.
That's nice because they're flat too. So
yeah, they're really durable. They come apart easy. And we ordered these from the Board Game Geek store. Yeah.
Thank you, Board Game Geek.
Yes. Thank you very much. So you get a whole, we got a bunch of them in different colors. So we got more than 3.
Yeah. These are the colors we chose because we thought they were the prettiest with...
We thought they matched Terraforming Mars the best out of the colors. These are great, by the way. Mm-hmm. And because when you order them, we got a bunch of them. I don't know how many you get, like 12 or 20 or 15. I have no idea how many.
You get a bunch.
But we get a bunch. So we just spread them out through all our games. We also, they're called Bit Bowls, but we also use them for dice trays, which works out just fine. I don't use dice trays, but Brittany has an issue rolling dice across the table. Anyways.
Well, I want to see how far it will go.
Next item. Invisible acrylic overlays. Mm-hmm. Now, it's hard to tell what these are with this, but if you put them over your... Shut it again. These are your Terraforming Mars boards. Now, if you overlay this here, you'll see it lines up nicely. Now, the point of these, if you haven't played Terraforming Mars before, is normally you put your little square bits on this little piece of paper.
And they move all over the place.
It happens a lot, and it's annoying, so you have to be very careful. It's like you're playing in a china shop, and you're surrounded by expensive glass, and you got to play very carefully.
For hours.
So, anyways, if you overlay these, they have little indents where your little cubes sit. So now your bits can't slide in as easy into the other spots. Now,
Except for the energy, there's actually a little hole here so you can slide the energy to heat, which I really liked.
yeah, because
I like the little simple.
at the end of each round, your energy does transfer to heat, so you have to move from there to there. So you can just slide them through this little crack.
Yeah, pretty hot.
So these are great. Like I would have liked if they actually stuck.
Me too. Like I still felt like it slid a little bit,
yeah,
but
they do slide a bit.
I'm super glad that we got them anyways.
Yeah.
So you bought them for me actually.
Yeah, I did.
'Cause
I
I'm
bought
so
them.
obsessed with this
Yeah,
game.
she's obsessed with it. So I thought Brittany would like this and also there was a lot of knocking of cubes back and forth, and
Oh, that's really why you got them.
it was
Is it
irritating.
for me?
It was irritating. Well, it was for you, but it was irritating for me to watch, so it was also for me. All right. Now, I got these from Etsy, and they're from...
Gaming Trunk.
Gaming-
So thank you, Gaming Trunk. Your product is awesome.
Yes. So, great job. We love this game, so we'll buy all the extras. And I guess that's it. So, we recommend both those extras for your Terraforming Mars experience, to enhance your Terraforming Mars experience. And I guess that's it. That's it for our first conversational review with Mark and Brittany. Thank you for joining us for this very special Terraforming Mars expansions review. If you liked this video and like to keep up to date with everything we do here at Board Game Coffee, subscribe here.
And if you want more right now, click here.
So once again, thanks for joining us.
This is Board Game Coffee.
And remember, have fun, keep gaming,
Be social.
See you next week.